Hi, Kathleen.
Guess what?
What? And only because I'm playing along, because I know what? What, Kathleen?
We wrote a book.
Ah! I'm so excited about this. It's so funny. We finished writing a book 9 months ago,
Yeah.
10 months ago, but now I feel like I actually wrote a book.
Okay, I'm a little self-conscious talking about it, I have to admit, because I feel like we talk about it all the time. I mean, it has consumed our entire lives for about the past year. And I feel like we've dropped hints about it, or not even hints. Like we've been very explicit. We're writing a book, but then I find that I'm still talking to people and I'm saying things like, I wrote a book, and they're like, oh, wait, what? You did? About what? What's it called? So I thought that we'd like pop in to everybody's feed and give them a little behind the scenes sneak peek at what we've got going on. We wrote a book.
Right? Because this is actually a big moment for us as well, because it's officially available for pre-order. So design is finalized. It's been edited more times than I want to count. And it's officially up on the internets, ready for people to purchase because it's coming out in April, but you can go ahead and pre-order it now. So I feel like now it's actually finally real. And instead of talking about it coming out, we can actually talk about people getting it, which is exciting.
Right. And so this week is an especially big deal because we finally have a cover. If you are not following us on Instagram or on social, on Facebook, wherever you could follow us, we've been making a splash about it this week. So you can see what the cover looks like on our Instagram, which is at Being Boss Club. So go check it out.
For sure. Because like this cover piece has been really, really big for us because whenever it came to us writing a book, it wasn't just going to be a business book. Like we weren't just going to tell people how to be entrepreneurs. We wanted this to be a book that was sort of a work of art for us. I mean, we are creatives. And so doing something that had that, especially extra creative touch to it was really important for us. So the design of the book has been just as big a part of this for us as writing the book. And so finally having this cover and having it available for people to see has been sort of an impetus of making it as real for us as actually handing in the manuscript. Like it's actually this total package, and it's so gratifying to see it all over the internet, all over our tiny corner of the internet. How about that?
So I want to share some behind the scenes sneak peeks as to what is in the book and some of the processes that went into actually writing and designing the book, because it has been a ride for sure. But first, let's give our listeners the title of the book. What's our book called?
The title is Being Boss, Take Control of Your Work, and Live Life on Your Own Terms. That feels legit.
I think it's just live life on your terms.
No, it's own terms. It's totally own terms.
Oh, then we need to update that on our website.
Will do.
You guys, we cannot get the subtitle committed to memory. There is something about it where we both have a mental block as to knowing the title of our book.
Right? We're only a little bit embarrassing. Regardless, book, cover, title, subtitle. I want to talk about what's going on the back cover as well for a second, because no one can see this yet. But doing the back cover was just as much of a journey as doing the front cover. And I think I'm most excited about the back personally.
Well, okay, so it's funny because our publisher, first off, okay, so whenever we designed this book, whenever we were meeting with our publisher, which is Running Press, they were really cool as to really seeing our vision of making a business book that is beautiful, colorful. It's a full color book with over 30 photographs inside. And so I've even described it to my friends and family as almost being like a cookbook level quality, but a business book. And so we had a photo shoot in New Orleans, and I'm pretty sure we've talked about that before, but we had this photo shoot in New Orleans and it was super witchy. We're wearing like black lace and high-waisted pencil skirts. And I don't know, I thought we were super cute. So we have this photo of us where we're setting off smoke bombs in New Orleans, in City Park. We actually talked about this in our live New Orleans episode.
Yes.
But like, I don't know. I guess I have a penchant for wearing see-through things. And my shirt
Right?
is totally see-through. And the way that the sun is hitting me, I don't know. It's just like a black bra and then a really lacy shirt. But it's like high-necked,
And
and
long
long
sleeves.
sleeve. I feel like it's kind of modest.
You're fully covered except completely see-through. It's
But
a
our agent sees the back cover. So there's this photo of us with like these smoke bombs and I don't know, looking kind of sexy witchy on the back cover. And our agent sends us an email saying, could you maybe find a more wholesome photo for the back cover? And we're like, I don't know that a wholesome, like that word will never describe us or any photo that
absolutely
we take.
not. Right. And I remember going back through all the photos because I was like, you know what? I'll give this a good go. Like, let's see. Let's just see. Because we came out with lots of photos. And that literally still was just my favorite photo. Like, the composition of the photo was right for the back cover and what was going on. We were looking amazing, all the things. And so my justification of keeping it was, well, if our editor and the publisher says it's okay, then it's fine with me.
Well, so then I was fine with it too until I give my mom and dad a sneak peek of the cover. And my dad was like, whoa. It's like, I'm not naked. I feel like I've literally posted naked photos of myself on Instagram for the whole world to see. Like, I'm definitely more clothed than I've been before. Anyway,
Right.
I just didn't think it was a big deal, but
And you were probably standing there in front of your dad in a see-through shirt.
who knows? I know, not like in a creepy way, just, I don't know, the way that I dress is not the most modest. Anyway, so I photoshopped it a little bit
Right.
just to make it like a little more opaque.
Yeah.
Just to
I
give
get
my skin a more grayish tint.
I supported it if it made you more comfortable and your dad, because that is important. But overall, I'm super happy with it. And I wasn't bothered by your see-through shirt, though I could absolutely see how some people would be. So anyway, I'm super excited.
I think that we posted the back cover photo on our Instagram. So
And if we haven't yet, we will in the next couple of days for
exactly.
sure. It will be there. So yes, design's
Anyway,
done.
writing this book has been such a journey. And like we've definitely had our moments where we've cried into pillows. We've thought that maybe it wasn't for us anymore, but it literally feels like birthing a baby. This book.
Yeah.
It has been a journey. But now like I'm so excited. We have a cover. I'm
Right.
really energized around this book and I think that it's going to really help the Being Boss brand reach more people. I mean, we get emails almost every single day from listeners listening to the podcast who are saying, you helped me quit my job. You've helped me start my side hustle. You've helped me redefine success. You've really helped me cultivate some confidence and self-reliance around being boss and deciding what that is. And this is kind of the book version of the podcast. And we're hoping that this traditional form of media is just another avenue or another way that we can reach more of you bosses out there. So we're just so excited about it.
Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. I mean, you and I have always wanted to write a book. It's funny. I remember some of our very earliest business bestie conversations that were not being published to the world were about the kinds of books that we wanted to write or about having these goals of writing books individually. And I think it's really funny that it ended up being us coming together that created our first book. So it was a dream that we've always had. And whenever it came to, all right, it's time for us to write a book, what are we going to write it about? It was about diving into what it is that we were most energized around at the moment. That was obviously the message of being boss. And it was the conversations that we were having with each other and other experts and other awesome creatives, and taking all of that and diving into it more. Because if writing a book will do anything for you, it will help you gain significantly more expertise on the thing that you're writing on. So for us to be able to make the decision to dive further in to the ideas that make up the sort of revolution that we accidentally started was definitely a journey. And for us, the decision to go traditional publishing was absolutely around spreading this message significantly larger or to a larger crowd than we were going to be able to do on our own. So the idea of partnering with a publisher to create this, to dive into that expertise and to share it is our way of spreading it so much further than it is at the moment. And like you said, we do get all of those emails from people who are using the message that we're sharing on the Being Boss platform to change their lives for the better. And I feel like in the world that we're in today, if there is anything I can do with my life, spreading a message that makes people happier and more fulfilled is absolutely worth a year of like painful creation because I do feel on many levels that's what this book has been, where everyone always says that writing a book is the hardest thing you can do as a professional. And I completely agree. But if anything, this taught me that, they always say just because something's hard doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. Like this was hard and I will do it again and again and again if it brings me this much fulfillment and has the potential of bringing so much good to the world. So yes to the Being Boss book.
Okay, so I kind of want to share some of our chapters and what we've actually written about. So just at a glance, we give you all an introduction where we're sharing. I mean, this whole book is like taking everything that we've talked about on the podcast, striking the tone between being actionable and giving you some of our best tools, but also through our point of view and kind of how we've done it along the way. So we start by sharing our personal stories, which some of you have heard, and really just outlining how we got started on this entrepreneurial journey. Then we dig into what it means to be boss and really defining. I mean, that's something that we haven't done a lot of. Like, this is the cool thing about writing this book, is really clarifying all of the hundreds of conversations and recordings that we've had on this podcast, but really getting down to the nut of it and just saying, like, here's what it means. Do you ever use that?
I've never heard of the nut.
The nut.
I'm sorry, I like that. Please continue.
You can start using it now.
I might.
Getting down to the nut of what it means to be boss.
Right. That one was a really fun chapter. And again, just like you said, where we'd never really defined it out loud. Like we've never had a conversation of here's literally what it means to be boss in very like finite terms. So it was super fun to really get in there with a definitive answer of what it means to be boss and how that is sort of the overarching themes that go through everything else we talk about.
We then really start to dig into the content with the boss mindset, because we always think that, I mean, thoughts are things, and you see your thoughts manifested in the world around you with what you create. So you've got to get in that good, confident mindset. So we start there.
Right. And then we move on to one of my favorites, which is establishing boss boundaries. So how it is that you set up your life and work to work for you so that you're nurturing what you need to nurture and letting go of anything that's not serving you.
We also dig into habits and routines. So this is probably one of our most actionable chapters, where we're really talking about setting yourself up for success on your terms.
And then the last two chapters are a good hearty split between work and doing all the things you need to do to get paid with your creative work and your life, so that everything you're doing up to that point gives you a life worth living.
All right. So one of the challenging things that goes into writing a book is figuring out how it's going to be different from every other self-help business book out there, which can stir up some fraudy feelings. But I don't know. I'm feeling zero fraudiness around this, because it is unlike any business book out there. I think that we've really created something that is beautiful. It's full color. Even the size of the book, whenever we were deciding what the print size was going to be, we wanted it to feel different than any other business book out there. We've got photography by Sarah Becker Lillard. I mean, 100% original photography. I was really proud of that.
I agree. One of my favorite things is how, and you mentioned this a second ago, how actionable we made the book, but part of that was including worksheets and exercises in the book and having those really fabulously designed as well, so that you can actually use this as a tool for helping you be more boss.
Yeah, and for those of you listening and you know you want the book, I'm going to encourage you to order a physical copy. So I am a hardcore Kindle reader. I read everything on my Kindle. In fact, most of the time, I don't even know the title of what I'm reading because it's on my Kindle. I never see the front cover. But there are a few books that I want on my bookshelf, or a few books that I've read on my Kindle and then I order the physical copy of. But I'm just going to tell you straight up, this is one that you're going to want a physical copy of. And that's why we made sure that the cover was so beautiful and the inside was so beautiful, so that you'll be proud to put this on your shelf with all of your other amazing books that you've got. So
True that, but also screw that. I want this sitting next to your bed or on your coffee table, because that was another one of the things that went into writing and designing and putting together this book, was that we wanted it to be super digestible, and the kind of thing where, if you're having a crappy day and need to cultivate some confidence, you can sit on your couch, open up the book to The Boss Mindset, and just take some nuggets with you through the rest of your day. Or same thing with like setting up boundaries or your habits and routines. The sort of book where you're not just going to read it and be done, but you're going to read it and hopefully go back to it time and time again, because it is so easy to read, and like with small digestible pieces or with these worksheets, we want it to be a book that you love having on your shelf, but maybe you love more having it somewhere that's more easily accessible.
yeah, I love the idea of just opening it up and flipping through it and really seeing what sticks out to you. It's not a book that has to be read entirely linear. I mean, obviously, we suggest that going from cover to cover, at least the first time. But it is the kind of book where you can just flip through and see what calls you and read that section of it. We have a ton of sidebars and even guest contributions. Again, we were really trying to bring the vibe of the podcast to the book. Funny enough, whenever our copy editor was going through it, she was like, this is very conversational, but that's not always best for in print. So she was making a few adjustments because we were writing like we speak. Anyway, we do include some contributions from some previous podcast guests and a couple of people who haven't been guests. So that was really cool. Just, I don't know, bringing our tribe into it. We even, in the boss section and what it means to be boss, we even took a few snippets from our Clubhouse members where they're defining what being boss means to them. And so that attitude of really making it yours is something that we went into the book with. We're not going to prescribe you anything. We're not going to tell you how to make six figures, but we are going to set you up in a way that you can rely on yourself to define what it is that you want and set some big ass goals and make it happen. And hopefully our book will help you do that.
Amen to that.
Okay, I got really, really excited, really energized whenever we got a couple of blurbs from some people who are super qualified and major bosses for our front and back cover.
Right. This was also a super boss moment. I know for me, and I know also for you as well, because we did send out a couple of digital copies to some people that we super admire, and got back some really inspiring sort of endorsements or feedback on the book as they read through it or went through it in whatever capacity they did, to give us some really great sort of testimonials and reviews that we can actually use for the cover. And like, I think I might tattoo some of them on my body for, later inspo and confidence building.
I know, because it's hard to feel, I mean, whenever you're so close to a piece of work, and I know that you listeners can relate to this, at some point you're like, is this okay? Like, is this good? And I know it is funny going through the book in those last iterations. I was like, yes, this is good. But then hearing it from someone who is a best-selling author or the CEO of a major company, I mean, that feels good to get their stamp of approval on it as well. So I would like to share one. The one that I'm really excited about is from Melissa Hartwig, who is the co-founder of Whole30. She's a best-selling author. She's written a few books herself. And she was able to take a sneak peek at the book. And here's what she said about it. Finally, a book for entrepreneurs that embraces mind, body, and spirit with an approach that honors your intuition while cultivating your inner badass. Being Boss is full of real life insights and bold strategies to help you define success, take charge of your day, and create the life you've always wanted. Melissa Hartwig, Whole30 co-creator and #1 New York Times bestselling author.
Yes. I know whenever I got like you reading that again, it got total cold chills. Thank you so much, Melissa, for sure. And again, having endorsements like that from people that you admire is one of the most gratifying things. So I'm so excited to get this in the hands of more people, to have them take a peek at, what I absolutely feel at this moment in my life is the most important thing that I have done beyond having my child, which is obviously a given, but like this book is absolutely it. And to have feedback like that, again, cold chills.
So then I emailed her back and I was like, hey, would it be cool if I use this blurb on the front cover? And my favorite was her response where she said, you can tattoo it on your ass if you want. Use the whole thing or any portion of it, anywhere you choose. And so that's just kind of like one of those sneak peeks. I mentioned this because there is so much back and forth that happens in creating a project like this and actually making it into the world. And these really minor things like asking permission if this quote can go on the cover or deciding what goes on the cover. And I don't know, it's just been a huge piece of work. Every day we've worked on it. It's practically been a full-time job. Almost.
Yeah, it has been our life. Like you said earlier, most of my conversations as like a person, not even as a business person, but as like a mom or as a friend has been around this book for the past year, whether it was closing the deal or writing it or, editing it or design and cover feedback and all of these things. Almost every single one of my conversations for the past year has at some point touched on this book. Or I'll be sitting there thinking about the book and wanting to talk about it, but no one else is bringing it up, so I'm not. So even if we're not talking about it, I'm thinking about it, and it's ridiculous. And I'm so excited to see it like culminating into this maybe end point, but I feel again that it may just be the beginning.
And I just want to thank our listeners who have been reaching out to us, who are excited for us about the book. It really means so much that so many of you care enough to listen to the podcast and to order the book. We really appreciate you all. And thank you so much for being along on the ride with us. So, we're popping in to tell you, go look at the cover on our Instagram, but you can also order the book. If you go to beingboss.club/book, that will give you a list of all the places you can pre-order it and you can see the cover. And I don't know, we create some cool stuff for you guys. So check it all out there.
Yes, please.
And then we'll be quiet about the book for a couple months, but we're going to come back at it hard during the pre-order phase.
Right. So get ready for March, because we'll be talking about the book a whole lot. It is officially released on April 10th. So this is a perfect time for you to consider buying one for yourself for the holidays, buying one for your business bestie, or any creatives that who need that extra push to be their own boss or be boss in whatever capacity they need to be. So snag it up for some holiday gifts. We'll have some cool graphics for you over on that page so that you can give it as a gift without having that physical copy. And otherwise, get ready for April when we will all have it in our hands. And I think every Instagram post that I post for at least 2 months will probably have like a corner of the book in it. It might become like a fun Where's Waldo thing because I'm going to be so excited.
I love it.
All right. And that's it. go get it. It's time. Pre-order at beingboss.club/book and be a part of this happy dance that Kathleen and I are having all day, every day these days.
Woo woo.